there's a third episode in the swamp. Yes, a third episode from Swamp Thing, and slowly but surely, the show gets better. I did not like the first episode, but the strengths of the show seem to be carrying it, which is the atmospherics, the mood, the horror template that it uses, and the production quality and the special effects. All that stuff's really good. The weaknesses, I thought, was in some of the performances. They seemed pretty cardboard and formulaic and all of that, but I think Abby is growing on me, even though she's good at moody. That's probably the best, but she's guilt-ridden over her hometown and what happened there with her childhood friend who died, and the parents that blame her and all this sort of thing. And of course, now she was starting to have feelings for Alec Holland, and suddenly, bam, he's dead. And there you go. And now she has a full-on encounter with the Swamp Thing, and of course, the title, He Speaks. Well, yes, Swamp Thing talks. And Swamp Thing, and this is the thing, if you know the comics, then you probably know I'm sure they were going, and I say they were going because the show's been canceled, but how far along they get to this, where Swamp Thing isn't actually Alec Holland. He just thinks he's Alec Holland. He has the memories and feelings and stuff of Alec Holland, but Alec Holland's death basically resulted in the birth of the Swamp Thing. So I guess, in a way, Alec Holland is Swamp Thing's daddy. But more and more of this is the swamp itself is some sort of living entity that's striking out against man. And that explains the plague and all the other weird crap that's going on. And Swamp Thing has got to kind of be the go-between here and learn to try to wrest control of this, I'm assuming. Because in the last episode they had that horrific and well-justified end to this nasty thug who was going to murder a little girl, and then it looked as if Swamp Thing controlled the swamp that ripped him to shreds, or did he? You know, and I'm thinking the swamp did it itself, and Swamp Thing is like stunned that this happens and feels that perhaps he did it, and he's guilt-ridden. We get another appearance from hipster douche Dr. Holland in a dream sequence, and the thug, and blaming him for his death, and so the Swamp Thing feels bad about it. He shouldn't. That guy got just what he deserved. But then the swamp decides to use the killer's body and sew him back together with using insects to go out and meet justice as it sees fit against people it just doesn't like. And a hunter, a guy's hunting, I guess he's hunting boar, and here comes zombie bug man who does him in, you know. So it's the constant incidents of the swamp attacking, and it has some sort of connection with Woodrow, who is probably one of the better characters they've introduced. Is pretty good performed here, and it also has a sympathetic storyline for him because his wife, who's actually quite young and yet seems to be suffering from some sort of degenerative brain disorder, which the symptoms seem to be the same as Alzheimer's, even though she's you can get Alzheimer's as early as 50, but I don't think she's quite there. But whatever, I'm not sure what they're saying, what it is. Maybe it's just one of those make-believe diseases or something, and he wants to figure out how to save her. I'm sure he won't. This will push him further into his weird obsession with vegetation and isolation from other people, which will lead him to become the Floronic Man. It's apparently his vegetation accelerant or whatever it was supposed to be may have kind of sparked this awakening of the swamp and its supernatural forces, and so on and so. Meanwhile, we get another little interlude with the soon-to-be the Blue Devil, played by Ian Zierling, or Ian as he calls himself. And so maybe we're getting a little more of him, and maybe he will be the Blue Devil, provided that happens in this season. It was probably meant to happen later on, and I guess we won't get to see that. But he has a connection with Madame Xanadu, and so she keeps giving him a reading that he's supposed to do something, and now suddenly the cards have changed, and apparently he's supposed to help Abby Arcane, who knows what, and we'll just have to wait and see, hopefully, if that's wrapped up. I don't know. So Abby, so Swamp Thing, some of these things, it seems kind of just suddenly Swamp Thing's there, but within the context of the swamp and his connections to it, and that he knows where to go suddenly. Abby's in trouble. She's being attacked by Zombie Bugman, and Swamp Thing shows up to defend her, and they fight, and then he realizes who Zombie Bugman is. He feels bad, so then he commands the bugs to leave him, and they do, and his body disintegrates, and there he goes to his rest in hell. He probably didn't do him any favors there, Swamp Thing. But it's a demonstration that ultimately, I think there may be, two sides of the force, if you will, of the swamp force that Swamp Thing tries to wrest control of, so it doesn't just go around murdering people that probably really didn't deserve it. Now, the thug did, and eventually it's going to probably target, Avery Sunderland, the guy who hired Woodrue to come do the experiment, which apparently was the catalyst of all this. And whether or not was he fully aware of all the criminal activity? Yes, he has to be, because he ends up murdering a banker who was going to spill the beans on the whole thing, plus the fact that he's horribly in debt, and the only real access to cash he has is his wife. But she's decided she's not so keen on the husband anymore, because he's been making romantic overtures to the sheriff, who is Matt Cable's mom. So, and of course, she doesn't like Abby Arcane, because no girl is good for her boy. And of course, she may be right, because Abby Arcane is really in love with Alec Holland, who unfortunately is dead, but she's in love with his creation. And poor Matt, he's just, even though there he is, perfectly good-looking guy. He's dancing with her and everything, but, well, we can see where this is going. So, he'll probably get his heart broken anyway. But he's a noble guy. And Mom will be, oh, I told you. But anyway, she apparently had some relationship with Avery, and there's still some feelings there, or what have you. And so then the supposed spirit of his daughter visits the wife. But of course, we know that's not her daughter. It's some evil spirit. And that may be that the evil spirit is part of this whole swamp war thing. And that, because I'm thinking, what leads to the Floronic Man? Does Woodrow just do it to himself, or does the evil side of the swamp choose him to be its representative, whereas the good side of the swamp is represented by Swamp Thing? So perhaps that's where it'll go for that. But so there's still weaknesses here, and it's primarily in the performances here. They'll stiff. Some are better than others. And boy, I tell you, for all the production quality and stuff that looks good, again, that hairpiece on Avery Sunderland, just, there's a moment where he's looking in the mirror and it's the reversed image, and it actually looks a lot better. But maybe he needs to get attacked, and I don't know, he has to shave his head and just let the guy be bald. It'd be a lot better. But anyway, so it like I said, it gets better as it goes, but I guess it's too little too late for it. I don't know if the show in and of itself, as the executives looked it over and said, oh, this is crap, we got nothing, let's move on, or it's just that the DC Universe streaming service just didn't deliver, and they got to scrap the whole thing anyway. So I don't even know if we're getting seasons of the other two shows. They haven't announced, as far as I know, whether Doom Patrol or Titans has been canceled. There's supposed to be a Stargirl show, which I wasn't interested in. I didn't care for the Harley Quinn show, and the cartoons. They don't look all that great to me. Even some of the movies, because I haven't bothered to. That's one of the advantages of the service. You don't have to get the Blu-rays anymore. Just wait a few months, and they'll release the Warner Brothers animated movies on the site. And well, they look cool, but yeah. Haven't really liked them. And the next one coming will be Hush, so So we'll see what they did with that. But anyway, so I'm thinking that sadly the streaming service just couldn't catch on, and they're probably going to fold it into their Warner Brothers streaming service, which is there again still an uphill battle against the territory that's already held by Netflix and Amazon. So I just don't know. So. But anyway, yeah, a good episode for Swamp Thing. So it's moving along, and perhaps just despite its flaws, will turn out to be okay and worthy of a shot. But it's just not gonna get it. It's not gonna get it. It's too late. But so this one is, I enjoyed it for what it was. So yeah, I'll give it 4 stars. So anyway, there you go. Swamp Thing. He speaks. Yes, he did. He did. All right, thank you for watching and listening. Say, why not like and subscribe? And while you're here, check out that link description below. That'll take you to my podcast and to my many stores that have plenty of goodies for you. That's right. You. Don't you feel special? Make me feel special by going to those stores. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Flash Gordon conquers the universe. Oh, man. This is no place to change your pantyhose. Oh! Yeah. Come on, girls. Don't fight.
She struck me. She must be...
You got a lot of great stock footage up in here. I know.
Shouldn't we have sighted Ming's stronghold by now? No, we have followed the main report. Avoid observation.
Moon of the Wolf. God, I hope this isn't a porno about a wolf's ass. Say, you look like that guy on the wanted posters at the post office. I don't know what you're talking about. Ooh, don't go in there. Oh, man. Look what he left over there in the corner of the room. God damn it. Hey! Hey, you! You get out of here and clean this up! Huh. Damn it, went and left. I'll get one of the candy stripers in here. Ah! Hey, sexy. First. Ha ha! Oh!